I never thought crocheting could become my career, but here I am. If you've ever wondered how to turn your crochet hobby into a real side hustle or even a full-time career, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to walk you through what's worked for me, what I wish I knew sooner, and how you can build a crochet business that works for you. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer idea of how to turn your crochet hobby into a sustainable source of income. Hi, I'm Krista from Spirit Thread Crochet. I started crocheting about 10 years ago as a way to calm my racing mind. I didn't plan on making it a business. It was just a way to relax after a long day of work. But now I have over 50,000 sales and 150,000 followers across social platforms. At first, I just made things for myself. Tops, scarves, gifts for friends. But before long, people started asking, can you make me one too? This might sound familiar to some of you. So I opened an Etsy shop, I priced my first top at something like $25, and I was absolutely thrilled when it sold. But after a while, I was ready to grow. I realized that selling finished pieces meant I was constantly starting over. I'd finish one order, ship it out, and immediately need to start another. Plus, I wasn't charging nearly enough per piece to sustain myself. The big turning point came when I started designing and selling my own patterns. That changed everything. It allowed me to reach thousands of makers instead of a handful of customers. And it turned my handmade art into something that could keep growing, even when I wasn't actively crocheting. Since then, I've expanded into tutorials and patterns, YouTube content, affiliate partnerships, and teaching. All things that help me diversify my revenue while staying creative and connected. If you want to grow beyond a hobby, the first step is to start thinking like a brand. Let's start with social media. For me, it all started on Instagram. I didn't have a strategy at first. I just shared photos of what I loved making, but a big growth spurt happened after a photographer asked to trade a crochet top for a photo shoot with some local models. All of a sudden, I could share beautiful photos of my work being worn. And since then, I've hosted hundreds of photo shoots and content events, and I've captured thousands of stunning photos. Another growth spurt came when I grew more comfortable including myself in my content, stepping in front of the camera for a photo or a video. It was scary at first, and often it still is, but it's worth it. People want to see you reflected in your business. They want to support you as a person, so even though it's scary to show your face, I highly recommend it. Later, I expanded to Facebook and TikTok and eventually YouTube, where I could teach and connect on a deeper level. Social media may feel overwhelming, so I'm here to tell you that you don't need to be on every platform right away. Start where your audience is and where you're the most comfortable. Focus on consistency, not perfection. It gets easier with time, I promise. I am living proof. Quick side note, soon I'm going to be filming a full lesson on social media marketing for crocheters. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you know when it's live. Next in my marketing journey came my website, my digital home. Fun fact, outside of crocheting, I also own a marketing agency. And this next topic is something I talk about with a lot of my clients. I want you to think of social media as rented land. You can grow there, but the algorithm controls who sees your content, and the platform can limit your reach or even delete your account whenever they choose. It's not fully yours. On the other hand, your website and your email list are land that you own. Your site is where you can share your story, sell items directly, and even collect emails for a newsletter. If building and maintaining a website feels overwhelming, start with a simple homepage with your story, your products, and maybe a way to sign up for updates. Personally, I love Squarespace. It's a very user-friendly platform and it's great for beginners. Both of my websites are on there. Next, let's talk about selling on third-party platforms. We'll start with Etsy. It's one of the easiest places to list your work because people are already searching there for handmade and creative goods, and it's very popular. You can gain exposure quickly, especially if your photos and your keywords are strong. But the downside? Again, you're building your business on someone else's platform. Etsy controls the search algorithm, takes listing and transaction fees, and can even change policies without warning. Etsy actually shut down my first shop and never told me why. I had no path of recourse, and although I'm so grateful for my current success on Etsy, I'm constantly terrified they will close me down again. So Etsy is kind of like renting a booth at a huge digital craft fair. You get foot traffic, but you don't own the space, and you have to pay to be there. It's increasingly becoming more pay to play, requiring ad spend for your items to be seen. So there are definitely pros and cons. Then there's Ravelry, which is a fantastic space for connecting with experienced crocheters who are already pattern savvy. However, it's not particularly visual or discovery driven. If people aren't already looking for your specific pattern or style, they may never stumble upon it. That's why I recommend using these platforms as an extension of your business, not the center of it. Think of them as tools that feed into your ecosystem rather than being the home base. Direct traffic to your website wherever you can, and then use third-party sites to reach untapped audiences. Here's another tip. In all your marketing efforts, one of the most important pieces of advice I can give is to set yourself apart. There are thousands of people sharing crochet content, designs, and items. So ask yourself, why should someone buy your pattern instead of another? What makes your tutorials different? How do your items make people feel? For me, I hope that my unique style is reflected in my designs. A combination of whimsy, edge, and comfort. My messaging is personal. It's about creativity as self-care. Crochet isn't just a craft for me. It's a form of mindfulness and confidence building. And I hope that my message connects with my audience just as much as the designs themselves. So think about what sets you apart and make sure that theme is present across your marketing. Now let's talk about making sales and generating revenue. The first step is choosing a niche. You can make anything with crochet, but if you make everything, it's going to be hard for you to stick out from the crowd. A jack of all trades is a master of none. So I recommend picking a niche that feels authentic to you. That could be feminine crochet fashion like me, home decor, accessories, scarves, hats, and winter weather goods, unisex crochet wearables, plushies, or amigurumi, and more. The possibilities are truly endless. Think of your collection like a catalog. Everything should feel cohesive. An important part of your niche is also defining what doesn't fit in it. For example, people often ask me if I make baby clothes, and I say no. I stick to my niche because it helps me get great at my craft and make me an expert in my particular skill set. You might be wondering, should I sell online or in person? The best way to decide is to consider where your target audience shops. Do they prefer in-person markets, or are they looking for specific products in online marketplaces? Are they at music festivals or local holiday events? Spend time thinking about your target audience and then meet them where they are. We already talked about opportunities for growing your online following and making sales digitally. Selling in person is a great way to connect directly with customers, but make sure you match your items to the event's audience. Vending at a summer market? Bring lightweight tops and accessories. Vending at a holiday fair? Bring plushies, hats, and quick gift items. For example, I sell online and then in person just a few times a year. I don't vend at holiday markets because I found my warm weather crochet tops sell best at summer festivals. I know where my audience is and I've adapted over time. This took some trial and error, but I now know what particular events I'll do well at and those I won't. A quick note on selling digital patterns. For me, this was the biggest game changer. Selling digital patterns means you can design once and sell infinitely. Instead of trading hours for dollars, you're creating assets. Each new pattern adds another stream of income, and it expands your audience. If you're new to designing and it feels overwhelming, start by documenting your process on your next project. Take notes, photos, and write each step as you go. You'll learn as you work, and you'll grow over time. Your first pattern does not have to be perfect. Again, this is a topic I hope to share a lesson on soon, so subscribe if you want to learn more about that. One of the biggest lessons I've learned on my crochet journey is to not put all of your eggs in one basket. A great way to diversify your income is through affiliate programs. Many yarn and tool companies will actually give you a commission, usually around 10%, for every sale that you refer using an affiliate link. Here are a few companies that you can look into, and I will paste all of these into the description as well. Yarnspirations, Premier Yarns, Lion Brand Yarn, Mary Maxim, Hobby, Laughing Hens, Leisure Arts, Red Heart, Knit Picks or We Crochet, and other affiliate networks like ShareASale, Awin. There are more that you can look into. These sites contain many brands, so you'll want to search for craft supplies, crochet, yarn, find what fits within your brand. Once you have an audience, even a small one, affiliate income can add up. Some companies give free product and affiliate income. For example, my hair dye company gives me free dye and an affiliate link, which I'll share in the description. I recommend sharing products that you actually use and love because authenticity always converts better than salesy pitches. Finally, consider teaching and monetizing your expertise. Don't underestimate the value of your skill, especially if you enjoy teaching others. You can teach crochet workshops locally, collaborate with art studios, or create online courses. Or if you're camera friendly, start a YouTube channel. Ad revenue and sponsorships can add a consistent stream of income once your videos start gaining traction. Okay, let's talk about pricing because this is where a lot of makers struggle. A common formula that many makers use is the price equals hours worked times your hourly rate plus the cost of materials, all multiplied by your profit margin. This formula accounts for materials, your labor, and a little profit cushion. If you're just starting, track your time carefully. You'll start to notice patterns in how long certain projects take, and you want to price accordingly. You can even consider making different pricing tiers. For example, simple projects might have lower rates, intermediate pieces are somewhere in between, and complicated custom commissions, you want to charge your highest rate. This gives your audience options while ensuring that your time is respected. And don't forget, your prices can and should evolve as your skills, demand, and brand grow. Your prices may not be for everyone, and that's okay. The key is finding the right customers who understand your worth. Now comes the biggest transformation of all, shifting your mindset. It's time to stop thinking like just a maker and start thinking like a creative entrepreneur and business owner. I am 10 years in, and I'm still working on this, but I have come a long way. When you begin to see your crochet as a business, everything changes. You start tracking your time, planning launches, reinvesting in tools, and taking breaks when you need them so you don't lose that creative spark. You begin to separate your worth from the algorithm or from a single sale, and that's when your freedom starts. You're not just creating for fun anymore, although you definitely should still be having fun. You're building a brand, a lifestyle, and possibly a career. So it's time to take yourself and your craft seriously. So whether you're crocheting after work or dreaming of making it your full-time career, remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Start small. Focus on one platform, one product, or one pattern. Each step builds momentum toward your goal. Don't wait to launch until everything is perfect or you'll never begin. If you build a crochet business you love slowly and steadily, you're going to look back years from now and be astonished with how far you've come. If this video gave you ideas or encouragement, make sure to subscribe and check the links below for free tutorials, special opportunities, and my newsletter where you'll get 3 free crochet patterns as a thank you. In 2026, something exciting is happening. I'm going to be launching a full program called the Creative Business Accelerator. It's going to dive much deeper into these topics and many more in much greater detail. So if any of this was interesting to you, be sure to join that newsletter so you can stay updated. Okay, friends, keep crocheting, keep experimenting, and remember, your handmade art can help you build a life that you love. Happy crocheting.